What's up, YTPC? Uncle Willie coming to you from the coop on this Monday. Beautiful Monday. Sun's out. A little breeze. Not to make it impossible to have a pipe. Humidity is down. Yay. Wanted to touch on something real quick. Paul with Pipes of Old. When I was using my grinder last week, a week before, and the handle popped off, I lost a little pin. Paul said, take a magnet and go outside where, in the area. Well, I just took the thing back and had it, and they replaced it with a different one without a handle, without a crank on it. But when I got up later, when I got ready to take my chair up because I take my chair in the house every night. This was in my chair. That's the pin out of the crank, out of the grinder. I was gonna show it to you. I kept forgetting about it, and I just saw it over there on the table because I picked it up that day, and I was like, I'd have been, if I was actually looking for it, I would have I got a magnet. I would have been out here dragging everything, and I'd have probably moved the chair, and the pin would have probably fell out in the yard or whatever if I was looking for it. But since I wasn't looking for it, it was right there in plain sight. But how's that go, hiding in plain sight? That's what I used to do with my wife's Christmas stuff. We lived in an apartment, and I did all her shopping one year. Well, I do it almost every year online. And I got home first every day from work. I would be able to get her stuff and unbox it, go take the boxes out to the dumpster, and she'd never know it. And I used to have stuff sitting in my desk. My desk, I used to have a big backdrop that had the bookcase thing up there. And I would take some of her presents and just put in between some books and stuff. She never had any reason to go and sit down at my desk because she had her own laptop that she used to sit in the chair with. When Christmas came, she was like, "Where did you have all this stuff at?" I said, "Hiding in plain sight, baby." It was all in the kitchen, in the living room, and she never knew it. I had stuff behind the TV, and she ain't got no reason to go look behind the TV, so I just put stuff out, plain sight. Some stuff was just right there. If you'd looked for it, you would have seen it, but hiding in plain sight. Just like this boy. He sits there and watches them people go by. They're out there looking for him, and he just standing there like, he gives them that dead tree look. My favorite look to give stupid people. I am smoking my Ardor on this Monday. I don't know what kind of shape this is, other than you could say it's sort of like a bent poker of sorts. Beautiful rustication on it. Beautiful stem, you know that. Look at that, baby. In it is some 8-state Burley. Small batch. Small batch. Let me give you a little discussion on small batch. So 2021 is when I officially became a pipe smoker. I tried it at the end of 2020. In 2021, I'm considered a pipe smoker. Not just I dabble at it or try it. I found out early on that my favorite tobacco was a vapor. This guy in the group that I was in, I'm still in, I don't know that he is or not, but anyway, he used to smoke a lot of Carolina Red Flake, and he would always make a point to say, having a bowl of Carolina Red Flake 2018 in my whatever pipe. The next day he was smoking the same thing, or either Carolina Red Flake 19 in his Savinelli 320, or whatever. So I inquired to him about that because I couldn't find that nowhere. Everywhere I looked, it was sold out. Me not knowing anything about small batches. So I did some more research and I found out that it's a small batch released once a year. You either get it or you don't. Well, I reached out in a couple groups and somebody had some from 18, some from 19, and some from 20. So I bought 2 tins of each from this guy, and they were $25 a tin. I didn't know. I knew. So I bought 6 tins. But when I got it, one of the tins from 2018 was opened. And I got these in 21. So I texted the guy and said, hey man, the 1 tin's opened and all. So he credited me back the money for that. Nice of him. And he was like, do what you want to with it. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was open, blah, blah, blah. It was fine. It was in that tin and it smoked great. It was still semi-moist and whatnot. So I didn't have to dry it out because at that time I was drying tobacco. I didn't have to dry it out. It was a perfect humidity level and man, it smoked great. It was some good stuff. Well, I had 3 of the 3 small batches, 18, 19, and 20. Well, I looked, and 2018, their small batch consisted of 8,000 tins. That's a pretty small batch considering it's from East Coast to West Coast. So it was so much of a hit in 18. In 19, they made it 10,000 tins in a small batch. The description on 2018 and 2019 read exactly the same. They're both say Red Virginia L2DH-0-15. Both read the exact same thing, exact same sugar count, everything. 15 was the year it was harvested. So they had probably 20,000 tins in 18, but they only released 8,000 and kept 10,000 for the following year. So 2020, they had run out of the 15, so they used tobacco that was harvested in 18 for the small batch of 10,000 tins for 2020. And it read SM2-18. 18 was the harvest year. I paid no attention to all of that was written on that because I didn't have a clue what it meant. All I knew is when I started hearing the buzz about it being released in 2021, now I'm a pipe smoker, gonna get me some of that. Well, I didn't know about these midnight drops, which in my opinion now, that's BS. But not knowing, I set up until midnight, so I kept refreshing. 12 o'clock, refresh. 12:01, it finally showed up on the website. Limit of 10. I added 10 to my cart, went to check out, computer crash, because their server wasn't designed for the traffic from the people from the East Coast to the West Coast to order this. I tried like 8 times, 10 times, and it kept crashing. I went to Tobacco Pipes, bought 10, checked out. Went back to Smoking Pipes, and it was still available, so I kept going, adding 10 to the cart, and click, refresh, click, refresh. Finally, it went through, and I ended up with 2010s of 2021. Well, the small batch of 2021 was made exclusive from 2 farms, Red Virginia farm of 2020 and the St. James Parish Perique farm of 2020. So they were both 2020 harvested for 2021 released, of a small batch count of 15,000 tins. So from 18 to 21, the small batch doubled, almost doubled in count. Because 18, it was 8,000 tins. 21, it was 15,000 tins. They had so much of the Red Virginia with Perique. They had so much of the Red Virginia left over that they were able to use it in their 2022 small batch of 15,000 tins with Red Virginia from 2020. And they said they use TA-20 red-orange tips. Supposedly they only use the tips of the leaves for the small batch of 15,000 tins in 2022. I got like 3 tins. I did not do the midnight drop. I got up the next morning, went online, they had some, I got 3 tins, and it was delivered. I didn't stay up trying to get it. It didn't sell out because 15,000 tins is not a small batch. And when they limit you so many per day, makes it a little easier for you to be able to get some of a small batch of 15,000 tins. So the 8-state Burley that I'm smoking right now is a small batch of 10,000 tins, and it's from 2022. I did not see any release yet, as of yet, for any 8-state Burley, but I did get some. I ordered 110 with some other stuff in 2022, but not knowing if I was gonna like the Burley or not. I enjoyed it so much, it was in between paydays. I had my wife order some for me, and I got 4 or 5 more tins on top of the one. And right now I got 10, I smoked one, got one I'm smoking out of, and I got 4 left. I think 4 left in the tub in the cellar. And with this cellar game, had I known what I know now, I would not have 50 or 60 of those tins that are in my cellar. I don't need 20 tins of Carolina Red Flake. I don't really care for it. I've got probably about 10 tins left. I gave quite a bit of it away. Small batch stuff is not a small batch, and it's not a treat to have it when you have to sit up at midnight to get some to try to buy it out from under somebody else. Had I taken my time and smoked through some different tobaccos, more of some different tobaccos, then instead of falling in love with a vapor and just chased vapors, I wanted Virginias and Virginia Periques. Had I looked around and did some smoking and shopping about, I wouldn't have all that stuff in my cellar that I'll probably never smoke. Probably never smoke 3/4 of what's in my cellar. My tub, my bucket, I don't even have a basement, so how can I have a freaking cellar? I won't never smoke. I'm gonna go out and say I probably got about 8, maybe 10 tins of the 2021 Carolina Red Flake. I know I got probably at least 8 tins. I'll never smoke it. I've given away 5 or 6 tins, just doing a trade and throwing one of them in there with it as a bonus. If they did a drop with the 8-state Burley, I wouldn't stay up for it, but if there was some available the next day, I would probably grab at least 2 tins, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. Sun Bear, Tupelo Honey, small batch, 20,000 tins. I only ordered 2. I'm glad that's all I ordered, because I'm probably going to end up giving one of them away because I don't care for it. They took what was left over from the Tupelo Honey, minus the Tupelo Honey, added some white Burley, and then they called it Warped Midsummer. If you investigate the ingredients of Midsummer, it'll tell you that it's 2019 Virginias sourced from Canada. Same as the Tupelo Honey, the Sun Bear. 2018 Ismer. Same as the Sun Bear. 2019 Bosma. Same as the Sun Bear. Tupelo Honey, not added. White Burley, just a pinch. Now we got another blend. Same ingredients. One ingredient off on each one can turn that into a totally different tobacco. I got 3 of the Midsummer. I'm giving one away when I meet up with a buddy of mine. And the other ones, I'll probably never get smoked, the one that I've got open. And the other one that I go into my cellar, probably never get smoked either. Had I known what I know now, I would not have half of the cellar that I have. Hindsight is 2020. But you can believe this: if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And with that being said, until next time, you know what to do. Stuff 'em and puff 'em.